This episode is brought to you by Bleacher Report. How do you follow sports? From college football to the NBA, Bleacher Report brings you the latest news, live scores, and epic highlights from your favorite leagues, teams, and athletes, all in one app. Dive into exclusive shows hosted by your favorite athletes and original Bleacher Report series with breaking news, rumors, and predictions all season long. Download Bleacher Report to personalize your coverage.
I've got a lot of grandbabies, like a lot. And when it comes to finding a gift for each of them, it could add up. But this year, while I was making my way through Walmart, I realized I don't have to spend a lot to get the gifts they'll love.
An OPI mini mani set! I'm gonna do so much nail art.
Oh, yeah! A Lego set! Might own a Walla water bottle!
Ooh, and that's just half of them.
Shop great gifts they're sure to love for $25 and under at Walmart.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just quarterback Peyton Manning, I'm also meditating Manning. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
You're listening to Achtung, Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Hello dear listeners, welcome to the first of a two-part voicemail reaction show this weekend. Time is rather upon us, dear listeners. We are, of course, collectively all looking down the barrel of Christmas Day. So I'm doing this voice note reaction show to Saturday's fine win 1-0 over Blackburn. I'm doing it in two parts. Going to be doing one set of voice notes here today, Monday morning, and a second show, hopefully I can squeeze it in this afternoon with Merv, which will go out tomorrow. So apologies for the slightly kind of lopsided take on these shows. It's just time's ticking down. But I don't know about you, dear listeners. I feel quite quite spirited in the wake of that win on Saturday. It was a close run thing, wasn't it? It was 0-0 till the 90 plus 5 or 90 plus 6 when Mihailo Ivanovic popped up to nod home that cross from the right side by Ryan Leonard. So close run thing. I thought we deserved the win on the Saturday, and I'm just looking at the breakdown of the game on the London News Online site. Richard Corley, South London Press, he describes it as a scrappy game. I don't know that I can go that far, Richard. I know what you mean about the scrappiness in the sense of two teams that were kind of probably cancelling each other out in many respects, but I thought the attacking intent of caretaker bosses David Livermore's lineup was probably the thing that swayed it for me. We were going forwards, we were playing with intent, and final balls, shots blocked, last moment things were just working against us, but we certainly played quite well. It was entertaining, which for me is a crucial factor in why I should be bothered to turn out on a cold, wet afternoon, go across London on a transport system that seems to be forever being, having engineering works to get to the den. You want to be entertained when you get there. I bet you're the same, listeners, wherever you come in from. As much as I can respect the kind of Rowett stroke late period Harris approach of soaking up pressure and hitting on the counter punch, I came home Saturday, probably feeling a lot better about my weekend than I might have otherwise expected to, had those kinds of tactics brought us a 1-0 win. I don't know. It was a good day, and great to see names like Idemo Marku and Mihailo Ivanovic come good, because we all love at the Den to see the youngsters coming good. So this is going to be the first of a two-part show. I'm going to be speaking to Merv later on, which I'll hope to get out tomorrow morning, but I thought we'd deal with the bulk of the voice notes on this show, and I'll just pick out a few to talk with Merv about later on. So first up, dear listeners, is going to be our first caller, so to speak, which is Rob Woodford. Take it away, Rob.
Yeah, hi, Nick. It's Rob Woodford from Block 4. And, it was good to leave the Den bouncing yesterday, wasn't it, with a result no more than we deserved, really, given the dominance over our opponents. And I just thought we had a right go from start to finish. I like the team selection as well as the sub changes, and fair play to caretaker manager Livers and the backroom team, to be honest. The new gaffer will inherit coaches who are obviously popular with the players, and I particularly liked the comments made by Steve Morrison last week about having Millwall men on the training ground. Yeah, I like that. The superb result takes the pressure off with 2 tricky away games to follow. And that goal, of course, was special, especially its timing right at the death. But I thought that brilliantly timed tackle by Femi was one of the best non-goal scoring moments we've seen at the Den in a very long time. You know, that moment epitomised the spirit in the camp and the benefit of having pacey forwards prepared to undertake their defensive duties as well. You know, and I thought it was also good to see Romain playing in a 10, but also flexible to change positions after the substitutions. Well, mate, all the very best for Christmas, Nick. And wouldn't the best festive gift of all be 3 points at Carrow Road? You know, and it's not very often that we get that gift, is it? Come on, you Lions.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, difficult away day, that one, on Boxing Day, listeners. Norwich away. Rob makes the point that we don't get much up there, and I don't think the Football League has exactly helped us out any, because there's no transport, no public transport, up to Norwich on Boxing Day. So the travelling support, those that can make it up there, will be driving it, and I take my hat off to them on Boxing Day. I'm not going to be able to get up there for that one personally. I will be hopefully watching it on stream, or I think it's on Sky Plus. But yeah, 3 points. We will be up against it. I've just been looking at caretaker boss David Livermore's comments. This is in the South London Press, listeners, this morning, 23rd of December, talking about the injury crisis that's deepening at Millwall. Now Danny McNamara is ruled out for 5 weeks. We're down to just 2 healthy first-team fullbacks, Joe Bryant and Ryan Leonard. And Ryan Leonard is not really a fullback, is he? He was recruited as a midfielder, but clearly filling in very, very well in that role. Has become now termed as a fullback. Apparently, Wes Harding is capable of filling in as a fullback, but has not made a league appearance all season. He was on the bench, Wes, wasn't he, on Saturday? I suppose the seeing his name there, and also as Rob mentioned there, the tackle back, I dare say we're going to be hearing about that from a few of the messages from the chaps today on this show. There's a real spirit in the side and a willingness to do the hard graft. But the reasons why we haven't seen some of these players, because I thought Idemo Markham, obviously a flair player and an attacking-minded player, but he also did some work defensively. I don't quite get the origins of some of these choices. From what I've seen of Wes Harding at the start of the season, he wasn't the best central defender I've ever seen in a Millwall shirt, listeners. He's not the new Maldini, is he? But he's not a bad player. He wasn't the worst I've seen either. I've seen worse in that position. So I don't really get what it is that has been behind some of this. And maybe we'll never know. We'll never know what gets said and opinions formed behind closed doors. But we have to make the most of the squad as it is. And clearly, if we're now down to just 2 fullbacks, then as Livermore puts it here, we're going to have to find a way around that problem. So fair play to him. I thought he set up exactly as Rob has said, exactly with the right attitude. Saturday, fantastic to see an attacking-minded Millwall team. It felt a bit refreshing. Don't know about you, dear listeners. It felt really good to go to the football, see an attack-minded Millwall team. And, we could have lost that one. There were 1 or 2 moments, but for the tackle back, the Blackburn boy was through on goal 1-on-1. That could have gone a different way if he'd taken his moment just a fraction ahead of that wonderful tackle by Femi Aziz. For me, one of the standout moments of the season, last couple of seasons, maybe with Ryan Leonard's tackle back at Swansea last year. But yeah, win or lose, if you approach the game in the right mind, with the right mindset, that's all you want from a Millwall team in the end. It's going to be interesting to see what approach the new manager takes when he comes in. Word on the street and the betting market seems to feel that Alex Neil is odds on. We'll see. Nothing's been announced as I record these words, so I won't dwell on that any further. But no, I really enjoyed Saturday, and it's really nice to leave it then, as Rob said, bouncing, because I think that's the collective feeling as we all left the ground. So great stuff there from Rob. Next up, John Rankin. Let's have a listen to John.
Hi Nick, hello listeners. John Rankin here. What a fantastic result. I'm so proud of the boys. 96-minute win, and I'm so proud for Ivanovic scoring that goal. Fantastic for the youngster, and what an advertisement for him on a bigger stage. It's a shame Langstaff didn't score a goal, but Ivanovic had to come on, and he's just got that little bit of killer instinct, hasn't he, to find the back of the net. Brilliant performance. I thought we played very well. I mean, early doors, we got that back four, and I think there's more of a mistake in Joe Bryan and Murray Wallace than there is in Tanganga and Ryan Leonard. And out of those two was my man of the match, actually. I think I would favour Ryan Leonard slightly over Japhet Tanganga. Joe Bryan and Murray Wallace were coming under extreme pressure. The Blackburn number 33, very, very good. And they held out. Blackburn didn't really have a lot to make themselves look dangerous. I thought they were doing well in the midfield, but then Denore and Saville started to get their foot on the ball. There was quite a lot of head tennis. It was a bit of a scrappy old game, and as it wore on, I was just hoping that we would come away without being beat. I was kind of getting used to the late winner from Blackburn, but I decided to try and remain positive, and so did we. We favoured our left with Imaku, and I thought Imaku was by far our brightest spark going forward, with Romain Esse, who is very, very good, very composed on the ball. And I don't think anyone in our side played really badly. Langstaff had a few half chances, and I think he's just got to have a bit more confidence in himself and just do what he thinks the first thing is he should do. At this sort of level, hesitation is death, and he gets himself in a good position, and if he's got in a position to have a shot, shoot. He's just lacking that bit of confidence. I was pleased to see Ivanovic come on, and I was absolutely delighted with the goal. It was down our right-hand side in attacking, and Romain Esse put the ball in the box. It was defended and came out. Came to Ryan Leonard, a little bit of composure, put his foot on the ball, and he put it up to the far post, and Ivanovic got up, and he had a lot to do with that header. It wasn't a nod down at the far post. He was on the far post, but he had a lot to do. He was on the edge of the 6-yard area, and it was a beautiful header, and it left the goalie nowhere. And I just thought, what a tremendous victory. David Livermore obviously organised the side well. He set out with a 4-2-3-1, and then he changed it to like a 4-2-4, really. And I do think that's the system that works for Millwall. It was a system which John Doherty used to play, and I do think it's better if we have a quick transition, if we have a couple of ball winners in the middle of the park. I would not worry about too much creativity. I would worry about winning the second ball in the middle of the park. If we do that and we can get it forward to Romain or Aziz, then we're in with a chance of threatening the goal. So, well done Millwall. Happy Christmas to all our listeners. Carry your lines!
Happy Christmas to you too, John. Let's hope it's a happy Christmas for Macaulay Langstaff, because I agree with you, John. I think he's close to clicking. He's close to clicking, listeners. He's been written off by a few. I've seen the stuff written online, which he was unlucky. He's been unlucky a few times. He's come up a lot of levels there from National League football, Notts County, League Two, into the Championship. You're up against some serious defending at our level, and it's just not happening for him at the moment. But there was a moment in the first half where I thought he might, on another occasion, have got the ball on target and into the net. I think it was like a tight angled shot from the right side. But I'm almost willing the boy to get that goal. I do think there's a goal scorer there. Whether he needs a side kick, a big man, small man setup, he probably does of some sort. Whether we'll ever get to that level, I mean, Ivanovic coming in with him late in the game seemed to produce more moments, and we were getting the balls in, as John said there, with almost a 4-2-4, which I suppose is a very old school, formation, isn't it? I didn't think Livermore was going to do much formation-wise. I thought he might stick to the new kind of norm, which is 4-2-3-1. You see it everywhere. I watched the Premier League yesterday. Everyone sets up in this 4-2-3-1 style, but fair play to him. I was interested to see him rule himself out, listeners, of contention for the managerial job. I kind of understand why he mightn't want it, and management is not for everybody, in my opinion. You can say this in wider life as well as football life, because it requires of you different moments. I think Livermore, is quite an intelligent coach. He always takes a lot of stick for his playing career. I don't quite understand why, because I never thought he was that bad. He wasn't Lionel Messi, but he was certainly part of a very successful period in Millwall history. Successive managers would pick him, and he did probably the grindy work that others needed to show their flair. And there's every need for that in the game. So I never really understood why Livermore as a player took so much stick. You still see it online now, often from those that it's almost like a cliche. People just say things in an instant reaction. But I think it was Rob made the point previously to John about the coaching staff being in place. Interesting that Livermore has said and come out and said that he wants to remain. I'm guessing that's going to be part of the deal, that if it is Alex Neil, and that's not been announced as I'm speaking to you, but if it is Alex Neil, he's going to want blokes that can work with the squad as it is. We're halfway through a season. There's clearly a good spirit in the side. We saw that. The Aziz tackle back has been mentioned already. That don't come from nowhere. It's easy never to bother, listeners, and players showing that kind of grit and determination, you want to nurture that. And if that means working with the coaches you've got in place, as Steve Morrison says, you need a Millwall spine across the club. So, Macaulay Langstaff, hesitation is death. I like that line, John. That's a good one. I'm going to nick that, mate. And Marco, I thought it was just great to see the boy enjoying himself. He clearly had a point to prove, and I don't mind that. That's everyone needs a bit of motivation in this life, and if it is to put one over on the bloke that maybe you feel wasn't your in your corner for you. I'm talking about Neil Harris repeatedly not picking him or dropping him when he played well. Then if that's the motivation you need, go for it. Take it, use it, nurture it, water that feeling, because that's going to produce your best work. And I thought Imaku is clearly not the finished article. Listeners, don't get me wrong. I do think he's got a lot of polishing yet to do, but there's a real raw talent and a real hunger and desire from Idemo Marco, Femi Aziz, another hungry boy, and Romain Esse with the ball. There was a meme I saw earlier on rating his, he's very highly rated in championship terms for possession, passing, and all the other measures and metrics that people take so much notice of in this modern game. So hungry three, I've called them, because they're hungry for the ball, and each of them, Imaku, Aziz, and Esse is probably the most obvious case, are hungry for success, and they're all going to achieve it in the game, in my opinion, because they've all got the X factor. So well done to all three of them. Man of the match, Ryan Leonard for John. That's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't argue with Ryan Leonard. Tanganga got it in the stadium. He's always a rock. I think it's almost like we're expecting that as a norm from Jeffet Tanganga. But Ryan Leonard always gives you the same, doesn't he? It's one of those players where you not miracles are expected, but it's certainly good performances are the norm. So good choice. Up front, Ivanovic. I was just on the brink. I do the live stream of consciousness stuff that I do. I hope people like that kind of stuff. I get a sense they do enjoy it, but tell me if you don't. But I was just on the point of saying he hasn't really done much since he's come on. And then he nods in the goal, which is the mark of a top striker. All you're doing is scoring the goals. And he's got a good scoring track record in the little opportunity that he's been given this season. So I think the boy's worth persevering with, listeners. There we are. We're going to take a very short break for some advertising messages. And then we'll be back after that with Lawrence Binney and Chicago Joe. Stay tuned.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
This episode is brought to you by AWS. Amazon Q Business is the new generative AI assistant from AWS. Many tasks can make business slow, like wading through mud. Help! Luckily, there's a faster, easier, less messy choice. Amazon Q can securely understand your business data to help you streamline tasks, like summarizing quarterly results or doing complex analyses in no time. Q got this. Learn what Amazon Q Business can do for you at aws.com/learn more.
Hi Nick, it's Lawrence Binney here calling in after Millwall 1, Blackburn 0. We're making a bit of a habit of those last minute goals. That is very nice to see at the Den at the moment, especially when we're only winning games by the odd goal here and there. Yeah, just a short one this week. Yeah, it kind of felt like under Livermore we're carrying on much as we have done under Harris. I think just in general over the course of the season so far, it's been a long time since I can recall a Mill side with this much effort and application. You know, like we really are staying in games, believe that we can get something out of games. The players look like they're trying to kind of perform for the supporters, for the club. There's a lot of pride in our performances at the moment, even when the quality isn't there. In some respects, actually, today's performance isn't that much different from what we saw against the likes of Sheffield United and Middlesbrough, where I think we were very organised, very solid, lacking a bit of quality sometimes. But like when you see, the likes of Femi Aziz, Adama Mako, who's come in after his attitude's been questioned all season, come in and put in those sorts of performances both on and off the ball. It really is heartening. Neither of those two players has any investment in the club beyond us being their employers. But they've come in and they show that Millwall attitude, and that's really lovely to see. That tackle by Aziz in the second half to get back. When the bloke was clean through, that was something else. Ryan Leonard-esque. In fact, I thought it was Leonard at first because I was at the other side of the ground. Yeah, just really, really positive. Imaku, I think, has shown that he has something to bring this side. Whether he has the discipline to be a starter every week, I mean, that's a different question. But I think in games like today, he really made the difference, even if he wasn't directly involved in the game. I think he just gave us that impetus that we really needed. Feeling a bit sorry for Langstaff. I think he's trying really hard. He's trying too hard. But he just can't, he's just not really, nothing's falling for him at the moment. And he is kind of overcomplicating things a little bit. A couple of times where he could have laid the ball off, but I think he's chasing that goal, isn't he? SA, I thought, had one of his best games for a long while. God, he's a delight, isn't he? I think just the way that he can create opportunities or create openings for us out of nothing is just invaluable. And also, I mean, what more can you say about Japhet Tanganga? I mean, he's only played 30 games for us, but I really can't think of a better defender that we've had in the past 30 years. I just can't really, and we've had some really good central defenders. So yeah, encouraging signs. I think it will be Alex Neil who comes in, and I'll be happy with that. An established Championship manager. Probably won't be in charge until early January. But yeah, I'm optimistic again. So yeah, thanks again for all your hard work, Nick, and come on, you Lions.
Big fucking Serbian. We've got a big fucking Serbian. Holy shit, what a win. There's no better high than a stoppage time winner. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fuck Blackburn. What a terrible team. What a terrible club. Oh my Lord. What a win for Millwall. It was looking bad. It was looking good all day. It looked like it was going to be like that Coventry game where we had so many chances and just couldn't execute, and then Blackburn's going to get that breakaway. But Femi Aziz, oh my gosh, that dude, golden signing, 10 out of 10, makes up for how bad Langstaff's been, but it doesn't matter because Ryan Leonard sets up the perfect goal, and Ivanovic with the header, Ivanovic, whatever, I do not care. The slide wasn't cool in the corner, but it doesn't matter because we beat Blackburn. Oh, I was prepared to be so angry if we hadn't won, especially after they went down to 10 when Travis got injured. But we won. I'm so buzzed here right now, like just buzzing. It's 11:07 in Chicago. I need to go find someone to go to the bar with me. I gotta cool off. Whew. What a day. Come on, you Lions. What a team. Still got issues. But oh my gosh. What a result. Cheers.
I think Joe's been on the Mountain Dew out there in Illinois. Great stuff, Joe. The new Bobby T, Chicago Joe. Yeah, two great messages. Thank you to Lawrence. Thank you to Joe. So many saying the same things over and over. I like the expression essay being a delight. I like that. I'm going to use that in the future, Lawrence. Some of the backheel passes, I mean, it takes real chutzpah to do a backheel pass at championship level, listeners. The chances of it going wrong are high. And if you can pull off these little moves, you look like the second coming of Lionel Messi or something. And all of them, SA and Aziz, I think in Marku, but maybe Aziz and SA more so, were willing to take these little chances and, back themselves in midfield, and they do the unexpected. And that is what will undo experienced, solid, organised midfield defensive units like Blackburn. They came there to make it a scrap. They came there to game manage, take their time trudging off the field for a substitute, applaud the away fans, and all the little 1,000,001 dark arts of modern day football that teams employ to try and run down the clock. But you undo them with little flicks and flashes of the illumination of that which brings us joy in this life. And players like SA, and I think increasingly so Femi Aziz, who's probably a more conventional player, but I do like to see him expressing himself. But SA's got that little bit of X factor, the willingness to take on do the unusual, the unexpected, and it's just wonderful to see. Enjoy whilst you can, because I do think that these boys will be attracting high table. The man in the high castle will be attracting. Be interested in these players. So they may well move on at some point for large sums of money. That's going to be the key to this new policy, this new direction of the club. But yeah, no, last minute goal, Lawrence. Wow, you can't beat it, mate, can you? The tackle from Femi actually was a big, what I might call a spirit lifter, because the game wasn't exactly drifting. There was a lot of effort and there was a lot of to and fro, but it was it wasn't flowing. Let's put it that way. But the tackle back from Femi Aziz, which I think was actually fairly early on in the second half, and I thought it was later. But listening to the stream of consciousness that I did, it was earlier in the second half than I imagined it to be. But that brought people off their seats around me in blocks 1 and 2. And those are the moments. These are the reasons why we go to watch football. These are the reasons why we switch off our Sky television or don't go to the pub. We leave the house and cross town to go and see, hopefully, moments of high drama like that. And it was wonderful. So, yeah, great messages both, Lawrence and Chicago Joe. Hopefully you're still wired, Joe. It's great to hear you buzzed up like that, mate. Good stuff. We're going to close out this show now with a succession of 3. We're going to have Adam Wicks, Dan Stone, new voice to the show, and then Bobby T. So I'm going to say arrivederci Millwall, and thank you for tuning in, dear listeners. I'm going to be speaking to Merv later this afternoon. I'm going to try and get that edition out tomorrow with the remainder of the voice notes that weren't included in this show. Like I say, apologies. Time is just creeping up on me now. We're Christmas Eve tomorrow, so things to do and places to go, and all the bits and pieces of Christmas. I'm probably not going to get a show out after Norwich, but I will get something out for your delectation after Coventry away, which is next Sunday. So hopefully on the Monday the 30th, we'll have something for you all to tune into. Any voice notes that people want to send me between now and next week, I will try and roll them all up into one gigantic mega edition of Achtung Millwall. But for the moment, I'm not going to play it with the chaps now, but I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for their for listening to the show, for all the contributors that send stuff in, the voice notes, the chaps that I speak to post game. And anyone else really that's had anything to do with the show. I've really enjoyed doing it. I've always taken the view that I'll carry on doing Achtung for as long as I can say, well, 2 things. One is that I enjoy doing it, and the second is that my voice doesn't sound like an old man. So at the moment, you tell me, at the moment, I think I'm still in the game. So we'll certainly be continuing in our coverage of the Lions after Christmas and into the new year. But I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for their help and thoughtfulness and kindnesses, and just for listening to the show, really. So there we go, play out now of Adam, then Dan and Bobby. So until the next edition of Achtung Mill from me, Nick Hart, big thank you. Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Morning, Nick. Just Adam Wicks there, just leaving my thoughts after yesterday's excellent 1-0 win at home to Blackburn Rovers. It's an interesting setup. Obviously, very, very interesting to see a front 4 of Langstaff, SA, Aziz and Amaku. Was an interesting game. I thought in general terms, out the 2 sides, we were the team that were really always looking to force things and actually win the game. I think Blackburn, it became evident as the game come on, really settled for a 0-0 and got caught out. To be fair, I mean that's a very us thing to do in some circumstances, but obviously didn't work out for them in the end. I just think very well done all round to all of them. The players that came in or that have come in, your Murray Wallaces and obviously Brian back in for McNamara did them, no harm. I know Murray did nearly made a cock up in the first half, but any of them are prone to that really at any moment anyway. I think looking at it, I think, we have got potentially quite an exciting front-footed team on our hands. I think in the right settings, I think it really does need to be like a horses for courses type thing, where we've got home games where we should be looking to win, it's great to see, those young players with energy and bravery and having a go and getting, and really, really forcing things. And, when we've got, those more difficult games, your Leeds, your Burnleys, your tough away games, that's your time for your Honeymans to come in and solidify things a little bit and be a little bit more sort of pragmatic about things. And I think if we can find a manager that can blend those things together and not get too rigid in who he selects, I think we're potentially onto a pretty decent thing. I mean, it should be apparent we haven't got the squad depth, I don't think, to maintain any sort of prolonged challenge. And I think if we can comfortably avoid relegation and finish, somewhere in the middle of the table, looking up rather than down, I think that'd be a pretty successful season after last year. And I think just for me, a few special standouts player-wise. Femi Aziz, my God. Not only is the boy talented, he's got a few tricks in his locker. He's quick. He's physically imposing for a winger as well. The run back and tackle was, that's equivalent to scoring a goal. Unbelievable. Just the work rate to drive himself back, time that. I mean, if he'd mistimed that, he was off and it was a penalty. To do that, unbelievable. I think, there's no length of a sort of a stand ovation type clap you can get for doing something like that. And that is a route one way to endear yourself to Millwall fans without doubt. And I think he is going to very, very well. I think he is becoming a fan favourite already now after a bit of a bumpy start. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. I really, really like his. I like everything about him. He looks like a proper player. With that hard work that we all really appreciate as well. And I think just Tanganga again, just unbelievable. What a centre half he is. No, shouldn't be playing for us. Shouldn't be playing in the Championship. There's no other defender in the league I would have in his place. He is an unbelievably class footballer. We are very lucky to have him, as we are, quite a few of the players. I think there's some really good prospects there, and you go back to when Harris brought us up. It was a workman-like side. There wasn't a lot of sell-on value to a lot of those players. And look at the situation we're in now. I mean, it's really good. I think it's really good. And I think just finally for me, just a quick thing. I really don't get a lot of the negativity I've seen around some of the potential managers. I think they're all, your Neil, your Schumachers. These are people. These are people at our level. Unfortunately, I don't know why anyone has a problem with that. I mean, Alex Neil. I think it's really disrespectful and unnecessary. These are people that have done good jobs in other clubs. And, we all know it doesn't work out for every manager everywhere. No one that goes to Stoke does well. Look at how they're doing now. Another manager change. Crikey. I don't know. I wouldn't wish that on us. So I think let's just, whoever it is, whenever they come in, potentially exciting times. And we're in a good. We've been in much worse places than we are now. So I think that's it from me. But Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you have a great time and come on, you Lions.
Hello, Nick. Dan Stone calling in after Millwall 1, Blackburn 0. What a game! I mean, I can't believe how well everyone played. It's fully deserved. I mean, that's great value for that. It could have easily been 2 or 3. We've had all the ball. We've had all the shots and chances and just all over them. I mean, and they're one of the best teams in the league. So, I mean, that's excited when the lineup come out. You see it for the first time. He's starting Maku, he's starting Aziz, and you've obviously got Rom in the 10. So, and then how well did they all play? I mean, everyone in the team. I mean, Tango's like a Rolls Royce at the back, and he just give him man of the match every week. He is that good. Old Coffee Joe must have had a couple of extra espressos that morning because he played well, and even old Muzzer didn't look too shabby, did he? Bless him. So, but yeah, I mean, Marco and Aziz, I mean, a lot of the reason they weren't getting started was because in theory they weren't going to work hard enough. In theory they weren't going to track back, but they did that in bundles yesterday, didn't they? And, you know, that goal-saving tackle from Aziz towards the end, I mean, that's worth a goal and more, in it. And the Marco done the same. I've seen he was tracking back, he was making the tackle. So, and then Langstaff, he worked really hard, and on comes a big fucking serve to win it with Eder in the 96th minute. It don't get any better than that, does it? 2 minutes to go. That's all you want, and it's brilliant. I mean, I don't want to get too excited because obviously you might get a new manager in and he changes the way we play. But if that's anything to go by, then we got a good second half of the season to look forward to. Thanks, Nick. Keep it going. Come on, you Lions.
Half time, Nick Hart, Bobby T, live in the clouds nearby you. I mean, going into next year, I mean, whoever comes in charge, Schumacher, Harry Potty's, Mark Bloomfield, Alex Snell's not for me. But anyway, podcast of the year, I hope you win that because you've done really well, podcast nominations. Yeah, hello, Nick Bobby T. Sorry, Amaku and Aziz, whoever comes in, they should be first team on the sheet, first name on the sheet. Them two wingers cause havoc, whoever comes in. Nick Hart, Bobby T, one more thing. Taganga's going to go, Essie's going to go. Joe Bryan's had a good game so far. Murray Wallace should retire. Whoever comes in, I don't want Schumacher, I don't want Alex Neil, I don't want Bloomfield, but let's see who it'll be. Because Amaku has to start every game. I take back what I said about him and Aziz. Bye for now. Merry Christmas, Nick Hart. Podcast the 0-0. We can't beat a team in pink shirts. Bye for now. Yeah, Bobby T, Nick Hart here, mate. I'll be honest with you, if we don't win this game, this is end to end, 61 minutes on the clock. If we don't win this game, QPR drawing, I can honestly see 6 points off safety, mate, with Oxford to come. So, if we lose this or even draw this, need to win this because 6 points is not a lot of drop zone, mate. We're not safe, man. Mihailo! You big son! Merry Christmas! Good evening, Nick Hart, Bobby T. All calm down now. Big game, big win, big for the Serbian. So, yeah, I mean, for me, Nick Hart, Merry Christmas, podcast of the year. But listen, that was a dull game. First off, we played really well. Aziz and Amaka, oh my God, amazing. Just couldn't buy a goal, couldn't score a goal. And then basically, second half, a very, very drab affair. Livermore, it feels quite numb today. No Harris and all. Anyway, whoever coming in, for me now, Mihailo, he come on. He very isolated, didn't do nothing. One chance, bang, on the play. Play him more now. If we play him more, whoever comes in, play him more up front with Langstaff, two up front. Two wingers, Aziz and Idemo. What more? Sorry, mate. I don't care if you will come on. You done well. Brian had a good game. But whoever's coming in now, Nick Hart, Achtung, Millwall. If it's Alex Neil, I'm not going to go anymore. Bloomfield, I don't fancy any of them. It should have been Robbins. Anyway, or Gary O'Neill. But 4-4-2 now. Whole new backroom staff. Idemo wing. Aziz quality. Serb, start playing him now. Look what happened today. Smash and grab. Merry Christmas from Bobby T.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.